coast to coast, it's your hosts, the Lombardi Leap and Mersey FB. This is Beyond the Frozen Tundra.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, the Lombardi Leap, here with Mersey FB. We're talking Packers coaches today.
Finally getting this one done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're waiting for QB coaches or hoping for a different QB coach, I guess, kind of is what we were hoping for potentially there. And we'll get into that here. But overall, I mean, I feel like the QB coach took a little bit longer than I expected to film. I don't know why. I think that, though, to kind of talk about the elephant in the room, the side of the ball that we were comfortable with ended up having the most change, which was, I mean, understandable considering what took place there. And the one side of the ball we were like, okay, we need a little bit more motion here. Let's do something. And we got a new QB coach, and that was it.
Yeah, wide receiver coach too.
Oh, yes. Can't forget about that.
You were more comfortable with the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side of the ball last year?
For the most part.
Because I remember you very vividly in that previous episode where we talked about it. You weren't a biggest fan of like 5 of the people who left.
I wasn't a biggest. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think here now. It's not that I was the biggest fan of them. It's that I thought they could use change. Realistically, the positions I was comfortable with was obviously I love Jeff Hafley. I think he's a good coach. I liked DeMarcus Covington.
He stayed.
I think he's a good coach,
which is important to note.
Yeah, one of the only guys there.
We liked Ainsley as well, but he left for. He didn't even go with Hafley. He left to go to Dallas.
For Dallas. Yeah, his contract wasn't. We'll get into that. I think for me, the defensive side of the ball, it was really just the cornerback coach.
Oh, you hated Duggan too.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I forgot about Duggan too. Yeah, the linebacker coach needed to go, and we've been blessed with those 2 positions. But I mean, overall, I liked the defensive structure. I liked where things were going, but everybody left. Just honestly, looking at who they brought in, I'm kind of like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Remember how we talked about how our coaching staff previously had very little experience outside of Green Bay? I feel like this previous hire, or these hires, have kind of definitely shifted that, at least defensively.
Yeah, defensively. I say a lot of them defensively, too, have experience as an actual, coordinator. And calling, yeah.
At some level of football. We'll kind of go head to toe here with the staff changes. First of all, Jonathan Gannon. He's our new defensive coordinator. We mentioned this before in a previous episode, so this is just kind of a rehash. Failed out in Arizona. Probably not, not really his fault.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that's his fault. Just kind of looking at that roster,
it feels like revisionist history. But when you look at the kind of talent he tried to acquire and the roster he tried to build, it wasn't quite there. But they kept the GM. So someone won that war, but it wasn't him. Comes from a background of coaching defensive backs, worked under Zimmer and Sirianni. So hopefully he's more Zimmer than Sirianni in terms of DC. But
yeah, I mean, Sirianni, I think he gets fired just kind of based on what's going on with Philadelphia, in that he's not really a very good GM or not really a good CEO coach. And I don't think that I definitely think Gannon was part of the reasons why Nick Sirianni has lasted as long as he did there, especially for his 3 seasons. That Gannon was the defensive coordinator. The big thing here, I think that just kind of reemphasized with Jonathan Gannon, which seems to be a theme with even all the people who they interviewed, is he's a DB coach by trade.
Yeah.
And if it's the one thing we need better, is better DBs.
He likes to do a lot of too high from what I've seen.
Yeah, which, crazy. I mean, we have the 2 best safeties, or I should say top 5 safeties in the league.
A team just won a Super Bowl playing a lot of too high safety. Granted, they had 2 defensive linemen that kicked ass in the middle of the field or in the middle of the defensive line. So hint, hint, nudge, nudge. What do we have to do in order to kind of replicate that? If you look at what Mike McDonald has done in Seattle, you can kind of see a form of it happening with Gannon and what he would like to do. He's just never really had the personnel to do it.
Well, he kinda did it with the Eagles
Yeah,
too
yeah, yeah.
originally.
Mhm.
Like, it's just Arizona was a rock and a hard place, and I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did there. It's gonna like, we've talked about this too in the other draft episodes, you can check those out, but, like, the Packers are gonna have some decisions here. Defensive line is going to be a major need, as well as just getting better defensive backs, because that is the one thing that broke down in the secondary last year was communication. I think that was one of the biggest things too that I nitpicked at, and it's one of the reasons why I don't like Sean Nixon is because I don't think he's a very good communicator, and it ends up putting other people in bad positions because of his inability to communicate. So it is, I think, going to be essential here moving forward that you get highly intelligent, maybe not necessarily the most athletic guys, which I know Green Bay has the propensity to take and try to teach them. But I don't know how you feel about this. I feel like communication is just one of those things that's extremely hard to teach.
Yeah, you definitely you there's a lot of things you can teach for a defensive back. The way to the process a game and read and react at a high level is not one of them. And you can kind of tell if a defensive back has that right away or not. And because no matter how much time you spend watching film, if you don't trust your instincts and how you're seeing the game, you will always be a tick late compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
And that is just
100%.
that is magnified at the corner position because the offense knows what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. You have to read off that and try and make the best decision possible. And if you're doubting yourself, that's just not going to work.
Yeah, and it's only gonna go downhill from there, especially. And like I think that with Gannon, as well as the staff they've built around him, they definitely are looking for a lot more mental errors, which I feel like besides injuries was a major theme when it came to both sides of the ball.
I think they're
And
really putting themselves in a position to take Dalen Everett in the draft. I think.
I've wondered that. I have legitimately I just been since you bring that up too, I had been thinking about that. And or uh even a guy like Davidson from Ohio State
Really, you think?
too is
I didn't think
ye
he processed that high, but we're getting into another episode here, so.
yeah, we'll have to I think we'll have to do an in-depth corner episode here coming up. But I mean, well, if you look at the staff here, and this is where I'm gonna kind of get into this here, is they didn't just like nitpick guys here and there. They brought in some pretty solid talent.
Pretty high end names
Uh
in some spots, yeah.
yeah, and some and the linebacker coach I'd say is pretty underrated. And you hinted at this at the beginning of the episode. I did not like Sean Duggan. I thought the tape said that Sean Duggan was not a good linebackers coach at all whatsoever. I'm glad he went to Miami. I wish him the best. I bet he'll probably be a better overall defensive coordinator than he is necessarily a linebackers coach. I like the Sam. I'm gonna probably butcher his last name because I gotta butcher a last name once every episode. Saifikis,
The
Ficus,
way I'm looking at it, I think it's Seif
Sivkis.
keys, maybe?
So,
Seifs?
dude, I
I,
just know that it's a Wisconsin last name through and through.
yeah, no, even I can't get that.
Definitely some like,
If
I think
any
it's like a Polish
listener
background
could
or
hit us
something.
up with like a pronunciation guide, please
Yeah, I
please God
appreciate
help us.
hooked on phonics, but for NFL last names. But he was the linebacker coach with Arizona. I'm glad he got brought over. He was also a defensive coordinator at Virginia Tech. So, I mean, like
Play
we
calling
emphasized, he
experience.
has play calling. Stealing from the enemy a little bit too. Minnesota Vikings assistant, and I believe he was the one who coached at like Platteville and stuff too,
Okay.
if I recall correctly. Yeah, so he is actually a Wisconsin native, so it's kind of a cool homecoming for him. He played for UW Lacrosse, which is kind of a big school there, and he played actually cornerback. So it's really cool to see kind of a homecoming here for him. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's glad
And
to be
what
back.
position have the Vikings always had good ones at recently? Linebacker. And
Yeah.
not even
Yeah,
that. It's kind of been like making something out of nothing with how they've had like Blake Cashman.
Oh, true.
God, the names off the top of my head aren't coming to me, but I'll Google this right now.
I think was it Kaiser White? for the linebacker for the Arizona Cardinals?
Cashman, Ivan Pace, even how much they've gotten out of Eric Wilson this past season, and then for the Cardinals, Kazir White would have been one of them.
Yeah, I mean, he was with Minnesota in 2021 and 2022, and then he went to Arizona 23 to 24, and then Virginia Tech in 2025. But I mean, you look at what he's done with just those linebacker cores from 2021 to 2024, and I think there's a lot to like there. Like, he has that hybrid front experience, which, that's like the modern NFL, it's just having hybrid. And I was kind of thinking about this too, well, when I'm looking at this linebacker coach and who they're bringing in, and with what Jonathan Gannon likes to do a little bit here, possibly moving forward, I think he's looking for better coverage on backs and tight ends. Because, I mean, middle of the field is one area where we got eaten up. We got eaten alive a lot of times by either a tight end or some running back coming over the middle, but a lot of times it was a tight end that would eat
It's
us
because
up.
we couldn't drop to depth. The running backs
Yeah.
linebackers could not drop to depth.
No. So I think that this is a step back in the right direction from Cabatelli before he went to Jacksonville,
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I'm really excited about this hire, even though a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is some no name." Like, no, this guy isn't some no name. I think he has the experience, and while I'm not willing to say, "Oh, this is Campanelli level," I'm going to say this is a second place compared to him right now, just because of what Dugan brought and what I saw from Dugan versus what I've seen from Fikes here, Sefkis. I'll butcher that again,
Yeah, I agree with
that
you.
linebacker.
I think the next guy is a little more important, or like bigger
Yeah.
name, Bobby Babbage.
I'm a fan. I'm a big fan.
Seeing the way that Buffalo went this offseason surprised me, to say the least.
Yeah, to keep the GM. Ugh.
Dude, keep the GM, fire the
promote
promote the offensive coordinator, head coach. Sean McDermott is looking for employment still. And who else did they fire? Yeah, and Bobby Babbage walked away. Like, I totally thought they would keep him, but I guess they just felt there was an organizational change that had to be made. And so, thank you. Brings a ton of experience with safeties and linebackers in Buffalo. And again, it's the pattern where it's like good coverage structure and simple disguises, like simple to execute disguises, but that could end up being quite complicated.
And a name that Packers fans should be familiar with is a gentleman by the name of Micah Hyde, who had his All-Pro season underneath Bobby Babbage. And it is kind of interesting to see they brought in 2 DB guys because like obviously Bobby Babbage is going to be the defensive passing game coordinator. He replaces Derek Ainsley, who they didn't renew his contract, and he's headed now to Dallas. They also, and I think this kind of goes hand in hand here, though. They also brought in Daniel Bullocks from the 49ers. He spent a decade there. And so with Ainsley and Ryan Downer went to Miami too. Thank you. Another one. This is the 2 positions in a row where I'm really glad that that Hafley took these coaches, and that with Dugan and Ryan Downer. Like you had mentioned this too. You're like, I really hope they break up the DB room and have like a safeties coach and a cornerback coach. I mean, do you think this is what they're doing here
Well, I'm
with
looking
bringing in Daniel Bullock?
looking it up right now. Let's see if they have not updated their website.
No.
Well,
they have not.
shite.
Yeah, we're recording this on a Tuesday, and I looked all day, and I've been like, okay, update. But I mean, I don't know.
The guys who are gone aren't there anymore, but they haven't announced their new hires that we know about. So, Storer's still on the website. Huh. And wait, did Hafley take Todd Hunt or Marcus Jones?
I don't know.
I
really don't know.
Strength and conditioning guys. Anyway.
Whoever one of the assistant ones.
Well, they're both.
I can't remember.
So they've not announced the official titles yet. However, I could see it being Bobby Babbage, passing game coordinator and safeties coach, and Daniel Bullock's cornerbacks coach.
Which would make sense if you're looking to draft a couple of cornerbacks.
Mm-hmm. But if they just have it as one specific defensive backs coach again, which, I mean, I wouldn't blame them, but I would like to have it broken up because safety and corner are 2 different nuanced positions. Like, yes, they're all defensive backs, but they do very different things.
Yeah, there's definitely some different disguise techniques there that you use for safeties versus.
It's even just like
backs.
different like coverage instincts and everything too. Is you teach the position differently, like, which is why it's kind of remarkable that a player like Kobe Bryant for the Seahawks free safety, started out as an outside corner, went into nickel, and then went up to free safety.
True. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, that's kind of something remarkable to see. But
And I look at too what Daniel Bullock specializes in, especially. He is very, very he heavily emphasizes the post snap rotation discipline, which again, something something that our cornerbacks lacked immensely is just that rotation discipline. So that's what leads me to believe, just with Babbage, we know. Jordan Poyer, all pro underneath Bobby Babbage. Micah Hyde, all pro underneath Bobby Babbage. Like, stick Bobby Babbage with the safeties. Watch, Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney, all pro season incoming for both of them. Like, I don't think that's unreasonable or out of the question here. And then on top of that, too, if you're looking to upgrade your cornerback room, which I know which everybody takes that press conference and Brian Gutekunst to heart, I wouldn't. Oh, I don't think we really need to clean house or whatever with the cornerback room. If that were true, I don't think you let Ryan Downard go, because Ryan Downard, they could have blocked him,
they could have. That's true.
but they didn't. Instead, they bring in Bobby Babbage and they bring in Daniel Bullocks, which tells me something that, hey, like, it wasn't good enough. We need to get better here. Here's how we're going to do it. And of course, they have to bring in a 49er, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, I mean, look at what he was able to do with in San Fran. Was he safeties coach or just secondary coach?
He was the defensive back coach and defensive passing game coordinator.
Okay, so he had a hand in the development of like Renardo Green, who did well.
Yes.
Who is the other one that kind of won't ever shut up? Diamador Lenore.
Diamador Lenore. Yeah. Yeah, because he's been the defensive back coach since. He was the assistant in 2017, and then he was the safeties coach until 2022. And then 23 to 25, he was just the DB coach, and they just decided. They brought in a new defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Salah's back.
Roberts, Salah's back with Tennessee, so that's why. That's just what happened there. It's not because he's a bad coach, and I don't think he's a bad coach at all whatsoever. Like, I think he has a plethora of experience there. And he's actually played the position.
Renardo Green has played great. Diamador Lenore has played great. Malik Mustafa, who they drafted in like the 6th round, has played great. So it's all of these people who he has had a hand in developing.
And again, he's another one of those guys that he's been to the Super Bowl. He has that experience there. So it's just another instance of them getting a guy who has experience.
And I think they
Like,
finally
the
clued
Seattle
in
blueprint.
with like young players. Oh, we can't promote internal hires. We need outside experience to come in and kind of teach these young guns.
And you're going to be getting younger in the cornerback room. So you're going to need a guy in there who's been doing this for a while. So that way these rookie cornerbacks are going to come in. If they take one in the second, I hope they do. Just start right away. That'd be the ideal. I don't know if that's going to happen. But at the very least, you have a couple of coaches in there who can get these guys up to speed a lot quicker than some internal promotion from a defensive quality and control assistant or something like that.
I agree. Do you want to talk about the least known one? This one's kind of like, oh, we're finding out what this guy's about in real time.
Dude, Will Smart.
Yeah.
Will Smart, dude. I'm kind of pumped at this.
It's exciting. I don't think we've done something like this in a while, right?
No. I don't, as from my understanding of it is I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe the Packers, if he is hired to be the pass rush specialist, I'm not just talking about assistant defensive line coach. I'm talking about a pass rush specialist here, because that's what Will Smart. He actually played with Zach Tom at Wake Forest.
Okay.
Had to retire due to just a medical retirement is why he ended up retiring. And he was a grad student at Wake Forest and moved to Vanderbilt, who this is kind of a newer trend amongst college coaches and such, is they have what's now called a pass rush specialist position. And his job is simply just to work on, refine, institute pass rushing-esque technique and moves into the game plan. So we're talking very, very, very much high levels of technique here that he is going to be emphasizing. And from my understanding of it, I don't think anybody else on the NFL has hired a pass rush specialist.
No.
I don't think so. Like, just I know you have assistant defensive line coaches, but I'm not sure if there's anybody that has the title of a pass rush specialist yet. And obviously, like, we don't know what Will Smart's actual title is in
Chuck Smith, pass rush coach, Baltimore.
is that must be new then. Is he still there?
I think so.
Or is that a new thing too? Because that would have been because they just got a new coach. I don't think he was. I
Okay,
don't
he
remember them
might
having
not
that
be on the
last
roster
year.
anymore, but it says like his official thing is Chuck Smith, pass rush coach on their website.
Okay, so maybe Baltimore did it before us, and Green Bay's finally picking up the slack and saying, "Hey, we need to do this too." But either way, I like this because kind of watching a little bit of his tape, and from my understanding of it, just kind of doing some digging here, he's going to bring hand combat development, kind of refining these moves for these defensive ends, especially. I think he's going to help with the rush plan structuring too, as well as kind of add, I think they're going to add some flair on like third and long.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anything could go wrong with this. Because when you look back, LVN, what was his pre-draft like negative? Lack of a pass rush plan. What could Bear and Sorrell benefit from? Lack like getting a pass rush plan. If you can teach these guys, okay, if your first move doesn't work, do you have a counter? What's your counter? And like have them develop that bag of tricks a little more, then you can finally maybe start winning with 4.
We are breaking news right now.
Oh, word.
As of right now, Packers special teams coordinator and assistant head coach Rich Bisaccia has officially stepped down from his position.
Holy crap.
This is per Tom. Yeah, this is per Tom Pelissero and Mike Garofalo.
My hands are in the
This is
air.
literally
My hands are in the air.
just
This is exciting news. The war is over.
yeah. Wow.
The planes are no longer
Man,
flying
that's
overhead.
crazy.
Special teams may improve.
Oh,
We
that's crazy.
miracles might happen.
Like this is just yeah. And ironically, the Browns hired away our assistant special teams coordinator. So there must be somebody already lined up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who it could be.
Like
Unless you're taking someone from college, which like is possible.
Point, why not? Like I won't hate it. That's crazy. I guess we're gonna have to see what's gonna happen there eventually. 'Cause, I mean, it's definitely needed.
What's
Mo-
hold on, wait. What's trying to find the coaches at Georgia here. Safeties. Do they not have a like special teams guy? Oh yeah. What's Kirk Benedict doing right now? Would he like to come up
Anyway,
north?
man. That would be crazy. Dude, yeah, pay money. Well, so here's what else is interesting now. With Rich Bisaccia retiring, we officially do not have an assistant head coach.
I think you give that to wait.
Do you give that to like Gannon? Do you?
I think you give it to Gannon if he's like, oh, I'm gonna go take a head coaching job somewhere next year, and then you're like, ha, just wait. You're the assistant head coach now.
Or here's my thought too. This is something I've been kind of seeing a little bit of a trend
Steno?
with is please no. Please no. You don't have to give it to the isn't the Brown special teams coordinator? Is he available?
He went to
He had the assistant.
Bubba Ventrone.
Did he get hired away?
Yeah, the Rams hired him.
That's right. Right, bummer. I was gonna say give it to him. I think what they could do is they could give it to like an older coach too, just a title of assistant head coach to kind of come in. Because I think that that's kind of something I've been seeing is they'll have some of these like really, really well respected coaches who may not necessarily want to coach a position or like be an offensive coordinator or something like that. They just give them the title of assistant head coach. It's kind of like a liaison position, but a lot more involved. So I could see something like that, like bringing in a veteran, well respected coach, and just he can be the assistant head coach, and then the special teams coach just being the special teams coach here moving forward.
Right.
So the Packers are officially without an assistant special teams coach and
I can't
special
believe
teams
that
head
happened.
coach.
Like furiously updating my Twitter to try and like see the news so I can retweet it.
Which is kind of crazy because I mean that again, like I don't think that this is something that the Packers are blindsided by. I think they were aware that it was coming. I think they knew that it was coming. I do think they have a plan. So,
well, if they didn't
like,
have a plan, this is kind of organizational malpractice, no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think this is probably one of the best things. Like I understand that the players like him, and this is one of the things that I've said in regards to Rich Bisaccia. I'm glad the players like him, But man, this is 2026. The methodology that he utilizes, I don't think is necessarily the best. And while he's never been an awesome special teams coordinator, he's been average to below average at best.
Yeah, I don't even
At
know how
best, not
like
even
good of a
seasonal.
locker room guy he is.
Well, I've heard he's a really great locker room guy. Like that, I will say, his players love him because of that old dog mentality that he brings.
Exactly, but that's
Like it's just,
that exactly right there is the issue.
and yeah, yeah. And I do think it's time to get experience, but new age experience. Get
Hmm.
guys who know what they're doing on special teams, who are familiar with the way things are run nowadays, and can emphasize what needs to be done here. Like I know certain areas have improved, but hey, we're gonna have to see what goes on here with special teams. We might just have a special powwow episode just for special teams coordinators and what we could see happening.
Hmm.
Cornerbacks may have to wait. But I think, as we kind of break this down, moving back to the speaking of special teams and moving into the offensive side of the ball now, or before that, I should say defensive line, DeMarcus Covington was there. It stays. So glad he's staying. I've loved the progression there. Everything pretty much stayed the same on the offensive side of the ball, except for, I'd say, two of the more important positions.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with Getsy in his quarterbacks coach because like he's held the role before.
Aaron Rodgers had two MVP seasons.
Yes, you can look at what happened with
And
him in Chicago and then Las Vegas as kind of a knock on him, but
I think being a coordinator is different than being like a positional coach. And like I know I rag on Joe Barry, and this is where I will come to Joe Barry's defense. I think Joe Barry is a good linebackers coach. I don't think he's a good defensive coordinator. And when Getsy was first hired, I was like, oh no. But now that I kind of look at it, I think Getsy is probably a good QB coach, not a good
mhm.
coordinator.
And like the only thing we really wanted was like a change. Like people were hoping for a breath of like fresh air in these rooms. Kind of what happened defensively to happen on offense for this coaching staff, but I'm not upset that
Mhm.
Getsy's back as quarterback coach. Like I think you
No,
can do a
I'm
lot
less
worse.
upset. Yeah, I'm less upset now that I've let cooler heads
Hmm.
prevail here because I think this is one of those things where change for the sake of change isn't necessarily good. And I think with a QB coach, like Getsy knows the system, he knows what Matt LaFleur wants. Even like with Desmond Ritter and
Has a
who's the other
good
guy,
rapport
McLeod.
with Jordan probably already too.
Yeah, and per my understanding of it, Jordan Love did advocate for Getsy as well. So I think that that is one of those things where this is it's better this way. And I'm not expecting Getsy to be like the offensive coordinator here.
Mhm.
I'm expecting him to be the QB coach, which is what I think he will
And
be.
now here's the fun one.
Dude, this one got me hyped.
So
Like,
the Packers or Ryan Mahaffey left to be what the tight ends coach or something in Miami.
yeah,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
So
Couldn't care less.
we bring in
Glad you're
Noah
gone.
Pauly from Penn State by way of Iowa State and North Dakota State. So
Yeah.
he coached Christian Watson in college. So that's a
Yes, he
plus.
did.
Guess who else he coached who recently got drafted?
Two of my favorite wide receivers in the draft last
Well,
year.
yeah, but before that, Xavier Hutchinson. No, wait, no.
Oh.
That would have been the year before he got to Iowa State. Okay, so not Xavier Hutchinson. My bad. Bad podcasting. So he coached Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins. Me and you were both like pounding the table to draft Jaden Higgins.
Absolute stud. Dude's a baller. Like, no questions asked there. Like, obviously North Dakota State, Christian Watson, boom. That connection right there, I think, is incredible. Goes to Iowa State, says, "Hey, want to see me do it again?" And then does it again with Noel and Jaden Higgins, who I loved both. I loved both of their film coming out of Iowa State. He was also the passing game coordinator at Iowa State. He was supposed to go to Penn State, but he's like, "Hey, I'll make my way to the NFL."
He's a
Like, this would be
very well
awesome.
respected assistant
Mhm.
in the college world.
Oh, yeah,
And so
100%.
now they're
I
kind of like, hey, you want to develop guys at the next level? And he's like, sure, I would love to do that. And then,
here's my bold prediction here. If you wanna give somebody the title of assistant head coach, you give it to this guy.
yeah, I wouldn't. I could see that for
Like,
sure.
I mean, if I think Noah Pauley is one of those guys who's going to rise up the rafters pretty quickly, and it would not shock me if next year he's getting interviews for offensive coordinator positions.
Okay.
That's how strongly I feel about Noah Pauley here. Like, I think he's a great wide receivers coach, and I think that this wide receiver room needs a guy like Noah Pauley in there.
Hmm.
I mean, with Matthew Golden, Watson, Reed, and Wicks to even some degree, as well as Savion Williams. Like, I mean, if we're going to the top three here,
Savion's the big one. If you can get Savion to be
yeah.
like 70, like not 60% of Jaden Higgins,
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's
Oh yeah.
worth the hire and then some. So
Well, I mean, if you can get Christian Watson to take the next step too, like you're talking all pro.
mhm,
And I'm not just saying that to say that. Like if you can get Christian Watson to take that next step and play like the big 6'4", 220-pound wide receiver who runs a 4.3, 4.4 that he is, like look out. Like that's going to be disgusting there. Absolutely. I mean, this hire here to me is what the Packers are saying is they're like, "Hey, look, our wide receivers room is young. I don't care if they're young. Like, develop the talent we drafted. But in order for us to develop the talent we drafted, we got to get a guy who's known for developing the talent."
mhm.
And so that's why they're pulling in Noah Pauly. So, man, am I pumped for that hire.
Real excited. I'm real excited.
Real excited for a wide receivers
Mhm.
coach.
And then, of course, Sermons, Dunn, and Butkus all stay in their respective rooms.
Unfortunately, Butkus, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that could be another
That's
one where it was just change for the sake of change.
Hopefully it's not. Hopefully everything does improve there. Maybe it's philosophical in terms of roster building.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've started to second guess that myself. We'll know quick enough. I mean, Zach Tom will be back healthy. Hopefully he stays healthy. Jordan Morgan at left tackle, which is the anticipation there. Just drafting a center too as well.
hmm And then back a swing tackle as well, too.
Yeah, just getting some continuity, which we didn't have on the offensive line this year. I think that's going to be hugely important.
I was gonna say, what do you think about like the defensive changes overall?
Yeah. I mean, just thinking about the defensive changes, I definitely think overall it's an upgrade that I didn't really think we necessarily needed, but now that it happened, I'm excited for it. Like looking at it more in depth, seeing who they brought in, what they brought in, what they're kind of going for coaching wise. I was like, oh, all the change needs to be primarily on the offensive side of the ball. Well, I'm like, oh, okay. All this stuff that happened on the defensive side of the ball, I like it. I like it a lot. I didn't necessarily think we needed it for the most part. There were a couple guys I wasn't a fan of, but I think moving forward, I think we're in a better spot defensively, coaching wise, than we were last year overall. Does that make sense?
Overall, I could see it, yes.
And I think that's the big thing is what I'm saying is overall. Like I mean, Jeff Halfley to Jonathan Gannon. I don't know how that's going to look. I think it'll look better just because of the experience there. And I do think the defense overall is going to take a step in being a consistent top 10 defense. It's just going to depend on obviously who they draft and how quickly those guys come up to speed.
I would agree with you 100%.
But I think it's important here too to emphasize that the Packers they didn't panic, you know, and they're not an organization that's really known to panic. Although I will say I feel like they did panic a little bit with them hiring Joe Barry in the past.
Yeah.
And this was kind of a complete opposite of that. They got the guy they wanted in Jonathan Gannon, as well as the pieces to go around him to build a very, very good looking staff on paper. And with Rich Bisaccia now retiring, I think that roster is that coaching staff is only going to get better with better experience. And Green Bay's ready. They believe that this roster is ready to win a Super Bowl now, and so they are bringing in guys who are going to be about execution. We just got to execute. I think that was a very very distinct piece of Brian Gutekunst and even Matt LaFleur's emphasis towards the end of the season. We have the guys, we have the talent. We just got to execute. We just got to execute. We just got to execute. So they're like, okay, we're gonna like the staff we had wasn't good enough to execute. So now we're going to get some guys in here who we believe that are going to get these guys to execute to the highest level because they have the experience doing
hmm
that.
And I'd like to stress real quick. This sounds like revisionist history that, oh, we didn't like Jeff Halfley. I did like Halfley. I think he ran a great system. I just think he struggled a bit with the self scout, and that's kind of one of Gannon's like strong suit is to like tailor the
Mhm.
system to the personnel and the people around him or the players around him. So defense might look a little different. It might look the same. We'll see. We might see Micah Parsons
Yeah.
rush from a stand-up stance, which would be kind of interesting.
He might be doing some crazy stuff with
Mhm.
Micah Parsons. I am excited here moving forward. I'm looking forward to kind of talking here about who our new special teams coordinator is moving forward. That's probably one of the most exciting things, as well as we are entering into more draft season here, and this stuff's going to be warming up. We'll talk about some defensive backs and defensive linemen, a little bit more in depth. But that is all for today, folks. Until next time.
To Packers fans coast to coast, thanks for going beyond the frozen tundra. We appreciate you tuning in. And as always, go Pack Go!